Something has to be said with just how creatively bankrupt Disney is as a company, with all the sequels and the live action remakes, reboots, prequels, in-betweequels, whatever. You can change it up all you want. At the end of the day, Disney, we understand what you're doing. You just need money and you got to pump it out fast. But, every now and then, Disney comes up with an interesting idea. Let's take a stationary park ride.
Okay.
And let's make a movie based off of it.
Sure.
Stupid idea. Horrible idea. Really?
No.
Pirates of the Caribbean? You're going to make a movie out of that with this person called Donnie Jeb? I don't know what this is. This looks stupid. Fantastic series. And then they said, let's continue to capitalize on this. Let's make the Haunted Mansion with epic funny man Eddie Murphy. That movie sucked.
It was okay.
What happens when something's not good? We redo it, because that's what Hollywood does, mainly Disney, because we're creatively bankrupt. So, here we are, Haunted Mansion 2023. Eddie Murphy's gone, and in we have Lakeith Stanfield, Rosario Dawson, Owen Wilson, Tiffany Haddish, Danny DeVito, Jared Leto, if you can spot him, Jamie Lee Curtis, and honestly, they got it right this time. This is an exceptionally enjoyable movie. And we're going to dive in head first on this cast. This is a heck of a cast. This is a weird cast. This is kind of like a spin the dartboard, start throwing darts blindly. Let's see who lines up. And see what happens. But you know what? Just like with Jumanji, the second and third one with Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, you get some people together that you really don't expect to actually mesh and have chemistry, but then they end up doing really, really well. Because when are you ever going to sit there and say, I'm going to get Tiffany Haddish
and Danny
DeVito and Jamie Lee Curtis
and Rosario Dawson
all in the same room together? And yeah, look, Owen Wilson's there somewhere. He wandered off the set
of
Loki.
And the wonderful Lakeith.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. No, but they are. This is a great cast. Everybody has their own part. And the great thing about this movie is that it really leans into their characters being much larger than life, but still having a beating soul. Everybody here has motivation. You know, and some of the characters, their motivation's a little thinner than others, but they all have their moment to shine, which is nice. But the big focus in this movie, arguably, is Lakeith and Rosario Dawson, and shockingly, out of nowhere, even Owen Wilson. But I guess that's because they saw just how well he acted it up in Loki Season 1, so they brought him back to come back a little stronger here.
Not stronger.
But he bounces off of each other really well. And then when it comes time to for the emotional beats, I'm really surprised. Now, of course, being a Disney movie, we have a lot of comedy in it. And, you know, you'll have your emotional beats and things like that. But what I really enjoy, and I don't know if it was just the writing or if it was a combination of the writing and acting and directing, they handle the emotional beats in here extremely well. And the way that they edited it as well, the way that they pieced it together. You know, we don't have, like, throwaway gags. We're kind of like, you know, even though I love the MCU, I'll admit, you know, we'll be, like, really invested emotionally, and then, you know, we'll make a joke about Drax having to take a dump or something like that.
I think what also works is, like, they go deep with the emotions, but, like, we also have to remember they try to make it realistic to, like, it's just a group of, like, not really, they don't know each other.
They don't know each other, okay?
So it's like, we're gonna give some emotion, but you're not about to, like, sit here and just, like, pour out your heart, and, like, but you're just gonna give some emotions just so that way people understand where you're coming from that are strangers to you.
But then on top of that, though, it's one of those things where you are essentially locked together in this house under literal life and death stakes, which, you know, when you're at the possibility at the end of the line there and you're staring off the edge of a very short bridge, then yeah, you know, you'll start to open up to these people who are sharing that experience. And I appreciate that, because there's a natural progression. It isn't, you know, one day, I don't know you, and then the next day, hey, you're my best friend. No, like, there is that natural progression of opening up, which I really do appreciate. There's one scene in particular, minor spoilers, where everybody's in the room and we really start to get an idea of everybody's character as they're coming together. You know, everybody's personality starts to come out. They're all, you know, trading back and forth and things like that. But then Lakeith Stanfield gets his moment to shine. And he's talking about his wife and her passing and the grief that he feels. But it's not handled in your traditional way of, like, you know,
everybody's crying.
Everybody's crying.
It's just like, oh my God.
You know, there's like genuine grief and genuine pain that he had zero control over it. He nothing that he could have done could have prevented it. You know, and it's one of those genuine responses where it's like, I just wanted to tell them one last time how I feel about them, because I don't feel like they know. And it's so well done. And then, of course, you know, Danny DeVito cuts in with a joke. And then you start to get irritated. You're like, really, Disney? Come on, seriously. But then Lakeith responds back with one of the most genuine movie responses ever. Thank you, I really needed that. And Danny DeVito doesn't say anything, just nods at him.
Because once again, they're just strangers all coming together in this, like, weird circumstance.
A special shout out as well, because y'all know how much I hate kid actors. Because 95% of them, unless they're in Stranger Things and like maybe one or two other projects, kid actors suck. But this kid right here in Haunted Mansion, Chase Dillon, my
so
dude,
good.
I need you to stick around. I need you to expand your horizons. Go on Broadway. Do what you need to do.
So good. Ooh, he'd be good on Broadway.
He would be. No,
I don't know if
was
he's
great.
already on, but
Because,
amazing.
Again, he sells the emotion, but he sells, the horror, he sells the comedy. He does great, and he doesn't overact. It's like a blessing.
He
it's a
fits
gift.
in well with all of these adults who are just trying to figure out what the heck is going on, and he's also trying to figure out what the heck is going on while also dealing with his kid stuff.
Exactly.
It's interesting. I like it.
There are some other actors in there that you may have seen on the poster on the building that we're not going to mention because discovering them throughout the movie is a lot of fun. And there's even some great surprises in there too, which we're not going to mention because a lot of the fun in this movie is really going in blind, just like our main characters, and just having that journey with them. Part of the journey, though, of course, is the comparisons to the ride. Anybody that's been on the Haunted Mansion ride knows that from the moment you get into that line queue, it is such an immersive experience, whether it's the tombstones that have rhymes about how the person went out, or the narrator over the PA system, as he's giving you little quips back and forth. This movie is a love letter to that ride. But they flesh it out so well and they blend it in so well. They do a great job. If you're a fan of the ride, you'll catch yourself going, aha, aha, like every 10 minutes. They do such a great job. But it does not use it as a crutch though. You don't see or you don't get that feeling that they're like, look, you guys like this, right? You like this because you like the ride. You don't get that feeling, which is so refreshing, especially with a lot of these sequels and everything like that, where they're like, hey, look, you guys like that? Do it again. No. One thing I also really appreciate in this day and age of massive visual effects overload, where everything needs to be the Star Wars prequel method of filming, where it's all green screen and CGI, we have sets. We have practical sets, we have practical props, we have old school filming techniques here, we have great old school camera movements and zoom in, zoom outs, Dutch angles and everything like that. It's great. It feels like an old school horror movie of sorts, where it's it's spooky, but it's not frightening and terrifying. Now there might be some moments in here that might be a little too extreme for some of the smaller kids.
And me.
Well, you are a smaller person. It is handled very well, though, and it's a good, enjoyable, fun time.
And it all looks good. I feel like there was never a moment where I was just like, ooh, that doesn't look good.
No, I definitely agree. I wasn't quite sure what to expect going into Haunted Mansion. The trailers were enjoyable. It was fun. Haha, look, we got some jokes, we got some humor, everything looks cool here. It seems that they really care about the ride and all. That's great. No, but this was actually a very enjoyable movie. It was more mature than I thought it would be. They handled the themes of grief and loss and death extremely well, better than I thought they would.
The cast melts together actually a lot better than I thought they would. So that's a huge plus.
Nobody tries to outdo the other person there. They somehow all get on the same level with their individual skills and talents, and they blend so perfectly. They really knocked it out of the park with this one. And I can't wait for them to drive it into the ground with multiple sequels. I love this movie, Mrs. Taco.
It's like a 3 out of 5. It's okay. It's
Yeah, would you watch it again?
No.
Wow. If you guys had a chance to check out Haunted Mansion, of course, let us know down in the comments below. Now, you might be asking yourself, Mr. Taco, this is Wednesday. The movies don't come out till Thursday. You're right. But if you were fortunate enough to go to the early access fan screening at your local AMC or wherever else is doing that, then you were fortunate enough to grab some swag, because that's what these fan events are always about, baby. It's the swag. And yes, look, that is a Haunted Mansion pin. Look at that. Look.
It's pretty neat.
It is pretty neat. Haunted Mansion will officially be in theaters by the time this video comes out. If you guys had a chance to see it, whether it was an early screening or, regular screening, whatever, let us know down in the comments below. We caught it in Dolby, but I'll admit, I don't think that the Dolby sound or the seat vibration actually benefited.
Actually, I forgot it was even in Dolby because it didn't make so you really could see this in it.
But I will say, visually, it looked great. That crisp 4K really helped those colors and, and everything pop on that. So I do appreciate that. But if you had a chance to check it out, of course, let us know down in the comments below. If you had zero intention on checking out, but there's a little glimmer of hope inside of you that says, hey, you know, maybe this won't be a bad movie. Just go. What do you have to lose?
I
besides
wasn't
your hard-earned
interested,
money?
and now I am not still interested anymore.
Well, you still saw it anyway. So until next time, guys, I'm VHS Taco signing off. I need to go ahead and see if I can get a camera fixated to catch the dead. Adios.
What? Bye!